Well, I'll say this, Jeff. When you did your review on lockdown this past week, you basically came up with the term that TNA is irreversibly stuck on stupid. Now, one might consider that to be true. I mean, when you take a look at basically who were the main focal points and how certain things went down, then one can't blame you for saying that. I mean, when you take a look at how certain matches came about, how they ended, it's like TNA doesn't know really what to do right now, right? It's like they're trying to grasp for every straw. But what if they were waiting? Here's the question, what if they were waiting for a certain moment? And what I mean is, perhaps, excuse me, perhaps from a story perspective, storyline perspective, maybe they were waiting for Dixie to mosey out so they could focus more on the wrestling, because they knew that as long as Dixie was in their plan, Dixie was around and in their plans, they couldn't really do anything. They had to go by what the story said. But here's the thing, though. If TNA is irreversibly stuck on stupid, excuse me, which again, no one can really deny whether they are or not. No one can really deny that. One thing they can say, though, tonight, one thing they could probably say about Impact last night, I should say, is the fact that TNA might have still shown that they're irreversibly stuck on stupid. Or maybe the fact that they're trying to go forward. And like I said, sometimes, whether you like the company or you don't like the company, whether you like how they do things or you don't like how they do things, sometimes a company will have these storylines written well in advance, and there's nothing you can really do until that storyline plays out. Only then will things start to change, maybe after that storyline is done. So with Dixie Carter supposedly gone from TNA, at least for now, as in charge of wrestling operations, perhaps that's what they were waiting for. I mean, come on, honestly, you don't think the creative staff, the booking staff, the writing staff doesn't know that fans were getting sick and tired of Dixie? Of course they were. Of course they knew that. But the thing is, they had to wait and let it play out. They probably wrote these stories well in advance and said, you know what, we got to go with this, we got to go with that. And I know you might say, well, that sounds like nothing more than an excuse. That might be true. That might be true in your case or anybody else's case. But let's take a look at WWE. We all knew that we were going to get Daniel Bryan Triple H. But WWE had this planned as an alternative if they couldn't go another route. So they had this already in the books as an alternative for Triple H at WrestleMania. Alright, they had this as an alternative for Triple H at WrestleMania. Okay, they already had this planned out. They already had this ready to go. But then again, so they already had this set and ready to go. But what they also realized, though, and this is where this rumor report came around, they also realized, though, well, wait a minute. If we just do Triple H and Daniel Bryan as just a regular match, we have one or two options. We either make it the main event, or we make it a match, or we put a stipulation in the match that affects the main event. So you see, they realized they had one or two options. either close the show with Triple H, Daniel Bryan, or because of the fact that they're trying to put more meaning on the WWE World Championship, they realize, well, you know what? Maybe we should add a stipulation. If Daniel Bryan wins, he gets in. Makes sense, right? So you see, what I'm saying in comparison with TNA, is the fact that they knew fans were getting sick and tired of Dixie. They were getting sick and tired of seeing her, and they wanted her gone. They wanted something different. But they realized to get to that point, just like in WWE with the whole Daniel Bryan situation, they had to let what was already established, what was already written, they had to let that play out. They had to let that go as it was written and played out. They had to do that. Now, does that mean it's going to be like this forever? Knowing TNA's history, Jeff, I wouldn't put it past them to go back on it. Because here's what I see could happen. Have we seen the last of Dixie? No, we have not seen the last of Dixie Carter. Believe me, we have not. If anything, this is just the start of lockdown was just the beginning of an all-out power struggle war that we had seen before and we're going to see again, but it's going to be a little higher. It's going to be similar, if not different, I should say. In other words, you're going to have Dixie Carter make a return. You're going to have some kind of stipulation added to where she tries to retain all, if not some, power. You know, I was thinking about this last night. And I wouldn't be surprised, and I wouldn't put it past TNA, Jeff, if, and you know this, and you'll probably agree with this, and I'm no fool killer, and the Lex Man, and anybody else would agree with this. I would not put it past TNA to have a stipulation added to the Magnus World title match at Sacrifice. I would not put it past them to add a stipulation to that where, let's say Magnus wins, Dixie gets 50% control back, 50% control of wrestling operations back. I wouldn't put it past them to do that. So, I wouldn't put it past them, honestly. So I don't think we've seen the end of Dixie Carter, and I think this power struggle storyline is just starting. But it's really just starting to be, between Dixie and MVP, it's just really starting to, broil. Come to a boil. Oil, if you know what I mean. So, to me, are they irreversibly stuck on stupid? Yes. Is there a chance they can change? Yes. Will they? Let's just see what happens. That's all I'm going to say. Comment below and I'll talk to y'all later.